All right, we are back in on Spruce Mountain, and I am we're gonna go to bed for the night. We're done pretty much on the farm. It's 3:20 in the afternoon. We've gotten all of our chores done. Everything's collected that needs to be collected. Animals are all fed. Tractors put away. Equipment put away. Let's go ahead and close the farm up. One thing I haven't done is done my farming duty. What does a farm manager do? He closes all the doors. I actually did ride the horses in the last episode. I just didn't record it, so that part's done. And I'm going to close this up. Closing up the workshop. And then we also have that last barn needs to be closed. But it's looking good, and I'm glad like I said, we got if you guys remember, we mowed the yard in the last episode around the house. So that is looking nice now. And now my daughter has brought her dripping wet puppy up into my office, and she's... Did you put a bow on her? No. Did Evelyn give you a bath, poor puppy? So, yes, my daughter is keeping Stella. Stella! Come on, close. Huh. I can't get these doors to close. Do I have to touch them maybe over here? Oh, well, whatever. I know they were closed. They were closed when I got in the barn, but I don't, for some reason they won't close. But good enough. So let's go ahead and fast forward till tomorrow. I mean... I'm going to go in for dinner. I'll see you guys in just a few moments. We need to decorate our house a little bit. All right, I'll be back. Weird. I had to restart the game. Something bugged out. There you go. Now they're closing. Strange. I triggered something that made it crash. Okay, yeah, that's all working now. All right, I'll be back. Wow, it's almost $1,000 a night in property maintenance. Ouch. Okay, let's see what... Good morning, by the way. It's 7 o'clock in the morning, first day of September. Oh, and look. Our sorghum is ready for harvest. This is going to be a huge day for harvesting. Sorghum's ready. That is a crazy amount of sorghum. I'll probably sell a lot of it, but... I believe our horses eat... Who can eat that? The chickens definitely can eat it. Oh, no, wait. Chickens only eat oat. Hold on. Hold your horses. What's for sale today? Same stuff as yesterday. Dang it. Why did that update? All right, so who eats what? Cows, chickens, wheat, barley, and sorghum. Okay, so we have sorghum for chickens. No, obviously, the cows don't eat it. The horses... Hay, oats, and sorghum. Base food. All right. Geez, they haven't eaten much. I think it's going to take an hour to update. However, these guys ate all of their hay, so they're out of food again. We got a little teeny bit of milk. Eggs. Yeah. Total effectiveness. Yeah, they got nothing. So they need sorghum. So I was going to feed them yesterday, but I didn't have anything. Their poor chickens are really hungry. So we need to get some sorghum off the field and feed those chickens. Look at all those chickens. What else do we need to do? Oh, well. We'll figure it out. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to get this harvest underway. Oh, we need to check the silage too and see how that's doing. So I'm going to hop over here, check our silo, see if we have an appropriate amount. By this evening, we should have silage. By the the end of the month, we should have silage. All right, so first things first. We're going to grab this tractor. There we go. Lights on for safety. And I think the header's right over on this side of the barn. Oh, it must be a vampire. See if anyone gets that joke. All right. Yeah, there's the header. Parked the right way, too. Okay. And we'll pull this out. Look at that. Weeds are already growing on my uncared for hay field or oat field. So both the horses and the chickens take sorghum. Right? Or no, wait a minute. I'm still confused. I just looked. It's funny how my memory, like as you get older, it's like, hang on. Yeah, sorghum. I thought chickens didn't take sorghum. Maybe that's only, maybe the other map has different requirements. I don't know. I'm confused now, but when am I not? I'll try to get this thing to back up. I want to angle the other way just a little bit so I can get the harvester attached and still have room to run the harvester through. That should be good. We'll see. All right, let's get this big old case harvester out and get it operational. We'll get it out of the barn first before I open the center up. I don't think it would fit out with those doors up. Let's see. Nope. They're just... no, it would fit. It's pretty close, though. All right. And we should be able to pick this up over here. This thing is so huge. Yeah, it's ginormous. Yeah, it's not going to fit. Like, we'll be able to get the header on, but I'm going to have to... No, I don't think it's going to fit through. Alrighty, but that's okay. We're going to go this way. All right. So let's get started. I'm going to start off by cutting the ends off the fields. And then we're going to move into the... We're not going to get... And we'll get a decent amount off this field. The other field's going to produce a lot of sorghum for us. Sorghum is... it grows pretty thin. And on top of that, we didn't have any fertilizer on these fields because I haven't had a chance to run soil samples on them yet. But we're going to... Now that once we have the fields all cleared, we're going to have to sample all of them. I think I'm going to have to rent a stubble remover for these fields too, a mulcher, because they're pretty heavily. We've got this what do you call it? The stubble from the sorghum on here. The other crops didn't really leave much, but this crop left a ton. So we'll do that next. we're going to have a lot of sorghum. Too much. And once again, I need to move. I need to move the oats out of that large bin that we're using and put it in the multi silo. Now I'm not going to run the whole field like this. I'm just going to do one more pass down here and then run back and forth. I may have to do this at the other end too. We'll see. But yeah, it's actually pulling off quite a bit of sorghum, so that's good. 4,000 liters, or just under, and we haven't even done 2 passes yet. Look at the map real quick here. Is this field? It's pretty square. So I guess it doesn't. We could just run it this way. It doesn't really matter on this field because it is somewhat of a square field. It doesn't matter if I go back and forth or up and down. Though I think when we get near the trees, it's going to get a little harder, but we'll see. But in the meantime, it's going very smoothly. So I may hire someone to do this. Though, I'm going to run around the outside of the field by myself before I hire someone. And then I'll hire them to finish the field off. Because then we can start working on some of the other things we need to do. I'm going to check the animals and see their food amount should update. We also need to get the big tractor attached to our chaser bin so that we can start helping this harvester get the food off the field, get the grain off the field. We'll run down to the other end, do the same thing. I don't know. It feels to me like this field is longer this way, but it really, on the map, it does not look like it's any different. It looks pretty square. The morning crows. Okay, so I'm going to let this go ahead and finish, and I will catch up with you in just a minute. All right, so I finished this row. I'm going to go ahead and set a worker. Oh, it's weird. I didn't think I got that off base, but look how curved that is. That's weird. Anyway, I'm going to hire a worker, and she's letting us know we're almost full, he or she. He. Oh, they're blocked. Sorry. All right, we're going to let them work, and I'm going to go ahead and grab that chaser bin, and I'm going to move the oats to the smaller silo, and we'll put the sorghum in this big silo here. Let's see, that's the chaser bin, and I think we really do need the big tractor for that. Because that thing gets so heavy when it's full. All right. No, don't do that. Yep, and the harvester's full. Dang it. I tried to do it fast, but I tried to do it fastly. Ooh, we are almost out of oats. Look at that. All right, so This is on the wrong side, so I'm going to have to turn around. All this wasted time. And let's get out there as quick as we can so that we're not paying somebody to sit in the field, because as you notice, my dollar amounts are going down quickly. Oh. I know which tree is going to be the first one to fall. We still need to fix some of that right there. It's not horrible, but... There we go. Well, let's take a look at as this thing's going. Let's take a look at the field ripper, the field shaver. We've got, let's see, this guy is, they're all pretty small requirements as far as horsepower goes. What does this one do? Is that the same thing? Seppi 200 base. I mean, that is just straight up odd coloring. Old coloring. Ooh, those look nice. I don't really know what the difference is there. It can be used to crush the crop stubble. That is what they're for, so... So this is olive farming, and this is just... Yeah. That's what we needed. This and this. I, of course, got interrupted. Again. And now... This guy's been harvesting the field for like half an hour, probably just sitting here with a full harvester. And I'm paying for it. That ain't gonna throw my economy off. Actually, it only looks good. He spent a couple $100. It's not too bad, but still. Ugh. All right, so where were we? I was perusing different devices to use to mulch. I don't really want to spend a fortune. It seems like 6 meters, 5.8, 5.6. This one will be easy to use. These are, what's the width on that? 9 meters. So this one's 3 feet wider, but it's way more expensive. So we're just gonna lease this, and we'll cut both the field stubble with that. And so I'm gonna, there we go. Let that guy continue. And we got a lot of field to cover, so I'm going to grab the case and run down to the shop and pick that up, the small case, and go pick the mulcher up, and we'll get started mulching the areas that have been harvested. So I shall return once I get back from the shop. See you in just a moment. All right, so I've come back to the farm with the mulcher, and I'm going to go ahead and put this thing to use. Hopefully we'll make some money at the end of the month from sales. Because this is costing a lot of money. But this gets the field ready for the next stage already, which makes things go a little faster. Now, we're going to have to rent a plow again this year, too. Like I said, actually, we probably should buy a plow. And I'd like to look for one of those John Deere rippers. Not your standard, like, plow. because we want something a little bit wider, faster, that's going to plow for corn, but doesn't necessarily dig as deep as a moldboard plow. I'm looking for more of a big ripper. Look at all this. I mean, there is a lot of, even on this field, this is a big field. I'm used to doing these little fields in Europe. This is a giant field. And it's actually comparatively a kind of small field. So, $1,000 for the hour, in which I did barely any work at all. So it's a rip off, but oh well, real life happens. My ex-wife showed up to pick up the kids, and of course there's always chaos when she arrives. So this time was no exception. It's too bad sorghum doesn't give you any straw. I'm trying to think. I don't have to do oats. I'm trying to think of what I would like to do. If we did wheat or barley, we'd have to get it planted this year. We have time to do it. Wheat tends to be a little bit more dense. The problem is, well, both the chickens and the horses eat sorghum, so we have a good source of food already. But oats are what the other source of food that they eat. Wheat and barley isn't. Well, I guess the chickens eat barley and wheat. I don't know. Once again, all the prices are pretty much, honestly, any crop, even bumper, quote unquote bumper crops, the prices are about the same. You get, per size of field. I know people don't necessarily realize this, but for the size of field that you have versus the price that you get, like a lot of people are like, oh, well, you get the most for soybeans. Well, no. Yes, you get the most per liter for soybeans, which what you have to remember is you get 3 times as much wheat off the field as you do soybeans. So depending on the current prices, sometimes you actually get less for soybeans. It just depends on the price but they're very close. It's not like there's a clear winner. Back in 2015, when I did those price comparisons, pretty much potatoes won, hands down, because you get way, way more potatoes off a field. But now they've kind of adjusted that, so they're all, except for silage, they're all pretty much cheap. Since version 17, pretty much this has held true. If you do silage bales, that's the most money you can make off your field, because you do it from grass always, and so you don't have to replant grass. There's no collection fees, there's no running a harvester, there's no you don't really even have, you only have to fertilize once in this version. You don't even have to, like, because mowing counts as a fertilization stage, so you have to do a lot less work, and you have to use a lot less product to get grass to grow. And then you turn around and make silage, and silage is very valuable. And since it's in bale form, and I don't know if you know this or not, but the bale prices do not fluctuate. All year round, the bales stay the same price. So you can sell the bales at the animal market for like the same price over and over again. You could also take them to the biogas plant and sell them. Now the downside with that is that you then have to wait as it processes them, but they still remain the same value there too, and you get free digestate if you sell them to the biogas plant. So you have to keep that in mind, that silage is the best financial that you can do. However, it's pretty boring to do. It's tedious. I like doing it this way because, the variety that you get, doing all kinds of different farming So just keep that in mind, because it is kind of boring to do silage over and over again. If you want a good way to get money to start a farm, though, watch my Alpine series that I did for Farm Sim 22. I've ended that farm, but the Chapman Dairy Farm, we made about $600,000 a year doing silage bales, because you get 3 or 4. Oh, that's the other thing too. With grass, you get three to 4 harvests a year. So you not only get more money per harvest, but you also get several harvests a year, whereas these other crops you only get 1 a year. So it's still kind of a broken economy when it comes to silage in this game. In reality, it's not quite that easy. There she goes, he goes, whoever goes. Who's in it now? Nope, still a guy. He looks like an IT tech. IT technician Bob takes the weekend off. I mean, that's what they do. If you guys know, like, if you guys, when I do the flying videos with Patchwork, he's an accountant, and his family has a farm, and so on the weekends during the week he's trading stocks, and on the weekends he's harvesting corn and wheat or whatever, corn and soybean maybe. I will have to ask him what they're doing this year, but. It's like real life farmers. They're not just people that farm anymore. They have careers, and then they farm on top of it. Another guy that we worked with, we used to buy we buy a side of beef that was organic, like the whole side. And those guys charged us, it was like $800 for half a cow back then, and that was a great price now. But it was expensive back then. But anyway, this guy, he only ever had 30 cows. And he would raise them, and every year he'd slaughter 5 of them or 6 of them and sell them, and then they'd have the other ones would have babies, and he'd have more cows, and then he'd slaughter a bunch and sell the meat, and the other ones he would just keep. But he kept it. He had I think like 8 pastures, and they weren't big pastures. They were maybe this size field or smaller, like half the size of this field. And each pasture had a different type of grass planted, and so each day he'd let the cows out into a different pasture. That way they didn't destroy the crops or the grass. They just ate what they wanted because they were hungry. And then the next day they'd move on, and they liked it. The cows really liked it because they had different flavors every night, so they wouldn't get bored. Just like anything, animals can get bored eating just like we do. So he gave them these, like, it was like gourmet, and the meat was delicious. And when you see fresh meat, like from the farm, and you get it in the grocery store, it's a little bit red, but it's kind of like reddish, whitish looking, and that's fresh. And when it gets old, it of course turns brown, and then green eventually if it's real bad. But this meat, I mean, was like fire engine red. It was so fresh, and then they would freeze pack it, like they put it in vacuum sealed freezer bags. It was a sight, and man, was it good! Holy cow, that meat was delicious. Ta-da! All right, so I'm going to keep at it. Hopefully keeping up or even catching the harvester as he harvests. Seems like I'm a little bit narrower than he is. And I'm moving at the same speed he is, so I probably will never catch him, but at least I can keep it somewhat close. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next episode. Have a great night. Be sure to subscribe. Thumbs up always help. Once again, if you really like the content and you're able to donate, like I said, it helps us keep the channel running, keep our cable bill and the electric bill paid, because things are just crazy right now with pricing. My electric bill is through the roof, and it's killing us. Anyway, have a great night, and I will see you next time. Bye.